all-time leader in sacks in Cardinals history. Had another double-digit sack last season with 10.5 for the season. 5 of those in the very first game of the season. The deal reportedly around $17 million per season. Chandler Jones going to join the Vegas Raiders. Let's bring in Pete Prisco. Pete, Chandler Jones was among your top 5 available free agents. You had him ranked at number 4. How big is this for Vegas?
Well, when you play in a division with the quarterbacks that they're going to face, 6 times a year, 2 each, you have to be able to knock the quarterback down. And last year, they averaged 2.1 sacks per game. That was 20th in the league. You got to be better than that. You faced Patrick Mahomes, you faced Justin Herbert, and now you face Russell Wilson. So I think this is an eye on improving their pass rush. And Chandler Jones, look, he had 5 sacks in the opener last year, kind of tailed off a little bit. Still, though, a productive pass rusher who really influences the game. He might not have had the sack numbers that he expected last season, but he does still get those pressures. So I like this move. And remember, Dave Ziegler, their general manager, and Josh McDaniels, they come from New England, and they had Chandler Jones in New England. So I think there's a familiarity there with the player.
4 years in New England and then the last 6 with the Arizona Cardinals. Let's go back to how he finished the season. Off the great start, 5 sacks first game, but then 5.5 sacks the rest of the way. Going into his age 32 season, what does he have left?
Yeah, there's always concern when you get to 32. But the way the guys take care of themselves these days, 32 is more like 27 a couple decades ago. So I do think when you're a pass rusher, you can get a couple good, 2-3 good years out of a guy like this before you see real decline. I don't think there was a major decline last year. He still was a guy who can influence the quarterback. And he will for the Raiders. Remember, Max Crosby's on the other side. That gives him a nice 1-2 punch to go after the quarterbacks in their own division.
Pete, is it just me, or does it seem like every big move this offseason over the last, 2 weeks has involved that one division?
I'll tell you what, that division is going to be fantastic. It's like the rest of the league is college football, and that division is the SEC. That's basically what it is, because they're going to beat each other up. The quarterback play is outstanding. I mean, think about it. You have stars in Mahomes, you have a star in Wilson, and you have a rising star who I think is going to be a special quarterback in Justin Herbert. And oh, by the way, Derek Carr took his team to the playoffs last year and had a successful season, and now he has Josh McDaniels coaching him. So you add that all up, that division is going to be a war week in and week out, and the team that wins it is really going to have to survive some really tough games and navigate a tough schedule.
Yeah, Kansas City is the favorite right now, but the Denver Broncos now have Russell Wilson, and they've done some things defensively as well. We know what the Chargers have done defensively. Justin Herbert becoming potentially a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. For the Raiders specifically, when you look at the odds and you look at our sports line numbers, they're expected to finish in the bottom of, albeit the best division in football. But how far are the Raiders back from those other 3 teams?
Well, they have a couple things they have to do, and one of them is upgrade the secondary a little bit on the corner, and another one is to upgrade that offensive line. They had issues on the offensive line at times last year, and that's a major concern. So I do think that they need to add some more speed on the outside and the passing game as well, but they're not that far off. Look, this is a competitive division, and week in and week out, like I said, it wouldn't surprise you if the Raiders finish 3rd or 2nd in that division, if they can, really tighten up a couple of areas. But everybody has questions. I mean, you go up and down the list, there are questions for every team. It's nice that you have the great quarterbacks to be able to offset the problems that you do have in your lineup.
Pete, there's also a reported trade involving Raiders pass rusher Yannick Ngakoue, who's expected to be traded to the Colts. What do you think about that?
Yeah, and there's a report it's for Rock Ya-Sin, the cornerback, and something else, and it reunites Yannick Ngakoue with Gus Bradley. And Gus Bradley had him in Jacksonville. He was one of his elite pass rushers when he was there. Probably hasn't played as well since then. Remember, he's been with a bunch of different teams, and there's been not the production that a lot of people expected. But Gus Bradley knows him well. He knows how to use him. And I think on that defense, when you're playing, next to a guy like Buckner, you're going to get a lot of one-on-one opportunities. They have some young pass rushers as well. But they need to amp up their pass rush in a big way, and this is a move to do that. The problem now is their cornerback position is bare. I mean, you have guys that, haven't played a lot of football on that roster. What do they do with Xavier Rhodes? I think that's in question now as well. So they need to upgrade the cornerback position going into the draft.
Yeah, we've talked about these AFC West teams so much, and the Bucs with Tom Brady returning, and the Packers with Aaron Rodgers returning. What about the Indianapolis Colts going into next season?
Better find a quarterback. I mean, you can talk all you want about doing this and doing that and rushing the passer and running the football and Jonathan Taylor. They don't throw the ball well enough. They didn't last year. They, on paper right now, whoever plays quarterback on that roster doesn't throw it well enough. They don't scare people on the outside. So the biggest issue right now for the Indianapolis Colts is the quarterback position, but not just the quarterback position, the entire thing around them, because they don't scare anybody down the field in terms of what they do with their speed. So they need to upgrade the passing game.
Okay, Raiders making a couple of moves, one involving the Colts. They've traded away Yannick Ngakoue reportedly to Indianapolis after finalizing a deal with Chandler Jones to join the team in Vegas. Pete Prisco with us here on HQ. These are his top 100 free agents, or at least the top 10 of his 100. And now, 7 of the top 10 have new teams, with the league year officially beginning at 4 o'clock Eastern time today. But still, the two biggest prizes, according to Pete, Teron Armstead, the offensive tackle, and Von Miller, the edge rusher, still do not have teams, and his top wide receiver still does not know where he's going to be playing next in Allen Robinson.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.